today, our mindfulness meditation session called Deepening Calm, Meeting Life with Awareness. To begin with, I would like to pay homage to my teacher, the Buddha, the Worthy One, the Enlightened One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dhamma greetings to you this afternoon. Today, in light of mindfulness meditation practice, I will be talking about the topic, particularly deepening calm and meeting life with awareness. In fact, here you can see a couple of very important terms in our life, because we are living in a hectic life indeed. Therefore, whenever we come across such terms, calm, awareness, and tranquility, even just hearing the term, it brings us some light. The reason is that we are desperately looking for such mental refuge and assistance in our life. So today, to explain and how to gain a deepened mind whilst meeting our life with awareness, I would explain 3 specific facts. The first, more experiential understanding or more direct seeing in the present moment. Why is it important in our life? More direct understanding, to put it more clearly, mindfulness meditation is not a way to escape the world, but instead to experience the world as it is. You can take it as an instrument to strengthen and deepen your practice, your ability, and your skills in understanding the world and to get through any obstacles or any hurdles that coming along your way in your life. So you really need to get through them rather than avoid them. That is the real defeat, and that is the real victory one can ever earn and one can ever reach in their life. So to achieve such victory, we really need to see the world more directly and experientially. That means it's indeed not far away from you, but instead it's obviously in this very present moment. However, due to our negligence and lack of understanding of ourselves, we always lose it. We always miss the opportunity to understand this stark reality in our life. More direct learning and seeing the world as it is, rather than seeing it through our contaminated and defiled eyes. There is a wise discourse called Bahya Sutta in the Udhana Pali. Bahya is a person to whom Buddha addressed a wonderful sermon. It is said that Dikte dikthamattam bhavisati, sute sutamattam bhavisati, mute mutamattam bhavisati, vinyate vinyatamattam bhavisati. This is a Pali utterance. This simply means that in the seen, there will be only the seen. In the heard, only the heard. In the sensed, there will only be the sensed. In the cognized, there will only be the cognized. It is not a puzzle. What really means here, whenever we see something through our eyes, we are not supposed to defile it. We need to see as just as it is. To make a distance from your egoistic perception. Normally, in our ordinary life, what's happening when we see something, when we hear something, when we sense, or when we cognize, or when we come across such things, we just make a connection with. Maybe it's me, or that's myself, or it relates to me, or it's myself, it's mine. You see, we try to make a bondage and we try to make some kind of attachment with it. So trying to make an attachment with such things makes us defiled, and also at the same time it leads us to fall into the trap of our own mind. Then we cannot really experience it. The reason is that we have already gone far away from it, because we cannot see as it really is, due to the reason that we have make an attachment to it. We think, oh, it's mine, or it's myself, or that's of mine, or that's me, that belongs to me. In this way, you can see how the worldly people get in trouble in everyday life. As long as it remains as yourself, or as myself, and mine, and of yours, everything begins with sorrow, pain, and suffering. Then many people just try to crave for things and desire for such things, and try to be some sort of predominant in the acquisitions and in the acquisition of such infinite things in their life, because they have already been defiled by their own sensory perception. That's why we need more direct and more experiential understanding of this very present moment. When we see something, when we hear something, when we sense and cognize something, we really need to remove the complexity arising from our own sensory perception. We say this is the radical simplicity. The real wisdom comes from simplicity rather than complexity. But what I see in the world, the people who are in pursuit of wisdom and deep knowledge, they are always attempting to gain more complicated and puzzling facts instead of simple, more down-to-earth and more general things. But if we really touch on the general and the more simpler things, we will really gain the true wisdom, the pure knowing, because then you do not add anything into it. No prior judgment, no prior identities or narratives. But when you are defiled, you add everything. You add everything that could add. Even in modern times, when you see some psychological disorders with, let's say, the stress or distress, anxiety. I believe that, for example, stress arises not just from events themselves, but from the stories layered upon them. But who are the persons? And who are the persons who lay the stories and narratives upon them? That's me and you. For example, an email could become criticism, and a silence could become rejection, because we narrate them. We add such meaning into them, and we add such identities and judgments into them. So, whilst you are adding such layering and such judgments and identities, you lose your calm, tranquility, and peace of mind because of such just things and events. But if you just take them as they are, just things and events, they are empty of meanings. They are just such things. As long as you do not narrate or judge them, you are safe, you are healthy, you are peaceful and tranquil. Nevertheless, at the very moment you narrate them, you lay some identities and judgments upon them, or you begin to suffer and gain all sorts of pain and suffering. That's how the world goes. So the calm deepens, your peace deepens when experience is met before the commentary solidifies into me or mine. You can just have an experiment. When there is lack of grasping, when there is lack of the sense of ego and your selfishness, you could perhaps experience the more deeper and profound sense of peace, joy, and tranquility within. That's why for the last few years I used to say meditation is always within you, but not without you. So it's obviously here, but sadly, due to our own defilements and negligence, we do not see it. But if you can let your mind arise through direct seeing in the present moment, that allows you to see it, that allows you to find it. There is a nice story that I would like to underpin here. It's very compelling to me. Once upon a time, a Zen master was asked a question by one of his students. So this student asked, "What is Zen?" Then the master said, "When hungry, eat. When tired, sleep." Just after hearing that, the student protested. Then the student said, "Oh, how is it possible? Because everyone does that." So do you mean everyone knows Zen? Everyone is full-fledged with the teachings of Zen? Then the master said, "No. When eating, they think of 1,000 things. When sleeping, they think about tomorrow." I think this is almost same with us. We do not have the present experience. We do not enjoy it. We do not fully attend to it. While we are doing physical activities, we are going far away from it. So your full presence at this very moment without complexity is the doorway to your deep calm, or it is the key to your deepening calm. Therefore, you can see the more simple you are, the more calmer you would become. The more complex you are, the more hectic you would become. So that's very formally. So keep yourself simple and keep yourself present with no judgment, narratives and identities upon such things. Just try to see as they are. Just try to experience the things just a way, on their own, not your own way. That's the very first thing I would like to tell you today. And the second thing, how we can meet our life with awareness. Of course, though we begin with calmness or peace, we indeed need some deep roots of wisdom and analytical understanding of the reality. So to do that, we need to see the insubstantial nature of our experience. Why? We tend to think, well, our experiences are very true, and we are very certain about them, and we are very content, and we tend to believe in them solidly. But that is not good to some degree. There is a wise discourse called Pena Sutta in the gradual sayings of the Buddha. It is said, Sayatapi bhikkave gangaya nadiya pena pindu. That means our form, our body, or our physical elements are just like a lump of foam, just like a lump of foam. And our feelings are like a water bubble. Such a nice analogy. And the perception like a mirage in a desert. And our formations, our mental proliferations are just like a plantain trunk. And our consciousness is just like a magic trick, very hallucinatory and very misty, one way or another. So I just want to take one out of them, all these 5 aggregates. The first, a lump of foam. But when we see it far away, we can see it very solid and very strong and very permanent. But when we really go closer, we can see, it is fragile. It is very uncertain. It is ready to go all the time. You see, we cannot be certain about our life, but we would like to. Though we would like to be very certain and permanent about certain things in our life, in reality, we couldn't be so, because there are times when things don't go your way, of course. And at the same time, there are times things do go your way, but that doesn't mean it stays the same. It remains the same, not at all. By all means, it's subject to change, and it always keeps moving unexpectedly. That's why we have to get through all the frustrations and anxieties, perhaps deep disappointments in our life related to our family and children and colleagues and workplace and society, maybe the country and beyond, because that's the reality. So everything is changing. Everything is changing. As I said, there is no such thing as stable and permanent in our life. Everything becomes unstable at one point, even our life, even our breath. Now we breathe in and out, but there will be one moment in our life we couldn't do that anymore. No one knows, and I don't know, and no one knows when that day is. But we know one thing, one day it comes, because it's on its way for us. So when the day comes, we couldn't do that. And there is no chance to escape it either. We have to accept it and then to get through it. So the permanence is just an illusion. We can see everything becomes impermanent. And of course, that's why we gain suffering and pain, because how you hope and how you expect things to be, they do not act and they do not respond in the same way as you expected. Sometimes they do, but all the time they do not. So you can see the fluctuations, the ups and downs. That's how it comes, that's how it goes. So the reason is that there is a causal connection and there are conditioned phenomena to everything. So that's why the world is conditioned. It's a conditional phenomena. So if something is conditioned, when the conditions start changing, the results of course will change, because cause and effect, the conditions and results, they are interconnected. So when one changes, then the other changes. It affects the other, then the other, of course, is changing. So that's how our life goes. Therefore, when we get some, either good motives or bad motives, we don't have to be permanent and perpetual and certain about that. We don't have to intensify our immoral or unwholesome motives and aspirations in our mind. Whenever we encounter such things, we need to see, well, it has come now, but ultimately it should go away. Either willingly or unwillingly, it goes, because that's the reality. However, when the stress or depression comes into our mind, automatically we tend to intensify our mental thoughts, not just such things, even hatred or craving or lust or animosity or some ill will thoughts to someone else. We just try to intensify such things. But when we treat them as form, thinking that they are stone, of course, we come to danger. Then we are at a state. We fall into danger and we will get in trouble. Therefore, we don't have to say our mental thoughts and fragments are just as a stone. No, they keep changing, they keep moving. All the wholesome and unwholesome things. So your identity, reputation, your success, failure, everything. They appear and then disappear. They come and they go. Your victory and the failure. So no one can stay as the victor forever. But people do think, but it's an illusion. And there is no eternal failure. And there is no eternal victory either. So, everything is conditioned and unstable. The more you understand this reality, you will become more calm and more relaxed, because there is no battle and there is no tension in your mind and the world. But unless you do not understand this, there is a tension ongoing in your mind because of that lack of understanding about the insubstantial nature of your experience. So the second thing is that whenever you experience such mental fragments, thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Don't take them as a stone, or don't take them as permanent existential facts. Just take them as impermanent mental moments and things and events, just like a lump of foam. I think if you can think in that way, it makes you more comfortable enough. Well, the final, I think before moving to my final point, there is another story I would like to say here. To the emptiness of your experience. Yes, that once upon a time, there was a meditation master. So one student visited him and said, "Teacher, I am very angry." He said, "I am very angry." Then the master asked, "Well, if you're angry, just show me your anger." So when the teacher said so, he tried to show it, but he couldn't. He said he is angry, but he couldn't show it. That's a paradox. But you see, it is not findable and it is not fixed. It is not some kind of setting a tablet of stone. No, it's just coming and moving, coming and going. It is not a solid entity, though we think. When we get angry, we think, oh, it's my anger, or it's me, it is my mode of expression. No, we couldn't think it's a solid entity. We couldn't locate it. If you really delve into your anger, you couldn't really locate it. It comes and goes. So, therefore, seeing experience as process rather than position that belongs to you most often softens your clinging and your fretting for the world. So, the more you clinging to the world, the less you deepen your calm. But the less you clinging to your emotions and feelings, the more you deepen calm naturally. Therefore, I would suggest you to see this insubstantial nature of experience. Well, so the third one, living with compassionate equanimity. That's very interesting. Compassion and equanimity, because in tradition and in practice, we have take these two different qualities, compassion and equanimity. But I would say to deepen your calm whilst meeting your life with the full sense of awareness, I think you can combine with these two tools, your compassion and equanimity. But how? How it comes and how it becomes. Compassion is very helpful to be gentle and kind to the world. So your compassion leads you to be more human and perhaps more humanistic, and to treat the world very well, including yourself. But equanimity helps you to be stable at all the time and to maintain your compassion, because you know the world is not something you think as it should be. For example, you might hear and you might gain the praise and blame from the same person. Yeah, we cannot only gain the praise in the world, but of course the blame, praise and blame from the same place, from the same group of people, from the same people. Yeah, that could be. So you see, when you gain and when you're accused of something, from the same people that you got praise, then you of course tend to get angry and to treat them ill will thoughts. But if you have the compassion and if you have the equanimity, then that allows you not to get angry and not to be unwholesome, because you know that's the world to keep you balanced. That's how compassion and equanimity, they work hand in hand. You know, so when we are living in the world, not just only praise and blame, but also gain and loss, pleasure and pain, comfort and suffering, fortune and unfortune, they are all part of our life. Nevertheless, we often look for one aspect or one side of life. I believe that no one is looking for blame, unfortune, loss, or pain, or discomfort. Everyone is struggling and everyone is in a competition to gain prosperity, success, the praise, pleasure, and comfort, but not the failure. You see? But you know how the world moves on, how the world treats you. It treats you in a dualistic way most often than you think. Everything comes together. It is just like two aspects of the same coin. If you see the reality as the two aspects of the same coin, then we need to aspect two aspects at different times in our life. Therefore, I think today's more reactive and digitally amplified world, compassion keeps us human, while equanimity keeps us steady and more balanced. So if you can practice these both tools, I would say you can become more calm even in the dark age of your life, because that makes a recipe for a wonderful mental setting, and it sets the scene for you to stay calm and peaceful all the time, all the moments in your life. Well, if I come to conclude this brief talk ahead of our meditation practice today, we talked about just 3 things, shedding light on our topic, deepening calm, meeting life with awareness. So deepening calm unfolds perhaps through 3 moments in our mind, in our life. Let's say direct and unentangled awareness, and insight into the insubstantial nature of your experience, and finally your compassionate equanimity. Therefore, I should say either meditation or mindfulness is not a way to escape the world, as I said before, but to fully experience the world with all the obstacles and enemies and anxieties. So your practice enables you to become stronger and deepen your true understanding of the world. Therefore, you should take this as an opportunity to learn and grow in the field of the merits and demerits, demons and deities, the heaven and hell. These are all parts of the world. These are all shared by many, not one. Thinking so, we should be strong enough to meet life with awareness. If you have diligence, strength, and mindful awareness, I would say you are strong enough to get through everything, all the unprecedented obstacles and challenging moments in your life. Otherwise, you would be at a state. So deepen calm, experience your life as it is, and meet your life with awareness. Then that will bring you a light of calm and wisdom. Well, now we can do some practice, then we can discuss any questions you might have. So today I thought we might practice silence meditation with some small guidance at the beginning. Then you can remain and you can practice some reflection upon you. Therefore, you may keep your body erect and back straight, and in whatever way your body is more comfortable, to stay calm and silent. When you feel ready, you may slowly close your eyes.